Hello comrades, Stealth here. Today it is Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This game was the most voted on game in the poll that I put out recently, which is very amusing because that means that you guys think you have a choice. You guys think that this is democracy. No, this is not a democracy, this is the Soviet Republic. You don't get a vote, you just get to work. In order to make sure that I actually have your support, I need you to do one thing, and that's right in the comment section, I serve the Soviet Union. That way I know that you are loyal to the party, and otherwise we might have to look into how exactly you've been behaving recently. So make sure you act accordingly. Now, this game is a city building game, but I was told to forget everything I learned about city building games so far. So it's going to be a different experience. Getting the tutorial done was already quite a different experience, shall I say, because the tutorial needs a bit of work on this game. It just told me to plonk down a bunch of buildings without really explaining why or what I was doing, so yes, I have some idea of how to play the game, but I'll have to really learn a lot about it. So there will be mistakes in this playthrough, although keep in mind the party does not make mistakes, only the workers do. It's never going to be my fault, it is always going to be the workers' fault. New game. Let's do a random map. Medium difficulty. Global events? No global events like epidemics, drastic price changes, etc. Features not available. Right. Start. Initial buildings, do not build anything. Start new game. Right, so forget everything that I learned about city building games so far. Now the tutorial has shown me that this is a very, very deep game. It has a lot of things that you can tinker with, all the way down to how what sort of vehicles are being produced. And that means lots and lots of micromanagement. Now, this is the map. As you can see, it is connected on all sides with a lot of different towns. I'm not going to pronounce most of them until the point where I might have to interact with them at some stage. And if you look at the terrain, it's fairly flat. We have some hills here and there, but overall, the town has plenty of space. One thing I found already interesting is that if you want to build something, and it doesn't even matter what you want to build, the closer I get to a border, the lower the price gets. Because I started out with about 15,000 as a price, and now it's down to 12,000. So getting close to a border is actually helpful. The game also requires you to build industries, or at least it allows you to build industries, and you can do that on the minimap. Or at least on the minimap you can see what sort of industries and sort of resources are available. There's coal on this map, there is iron on this map, there's oil, and there is uranium ore. Although the uranium ore is pretty much on the other side of the map. Let's see. I would like a patch of land where there's a bit of everything. There's iron, oil, and uranium. This place looks actually fairly decent. At least insofar as I'm able to discern it right now. There is a lake here, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem. And price is 12. Oh, the more I go this way, the lower the prices get. And then they increase again. So it might also have to do with the leveling of the terrain. Let's see if I can build something in this region. Because there's a bit of iron nearby, there is a bit of coal nearby, and there is... Oh, uranium ore is the next patch over. It's somewhere closer to here. Coal, iron. Yep, this is where we're building. Okay, set up a road first. We have... Oh, that's not a road. Or at least not entirely. What is that even? Is that some sort of control point? Like a guard station of sorts. Alright, first road is being worked on. You can buy these roads using either rubles or dollars, or, and this is going to be handy pretty soon, provided I can get that all set up in one episode, I can build a system a production chain, which is going to allow me to get the production sort of in-house, where I mine the gravel myself. I'll be able to not only mine the gravel, but I'll also be able to then use the gravel, or the stone, to turn it into gravel, and with that into concrete, and as such into asphalt. So it's going to be a fair amount of production chaining in this game. It has a lot of different buildings. I'm not going to go into each and every one just yet. For now, I just want to get a bit of my city built. So let's go for or actually maybe I'm doing it the wrong way around. If I want to get a industry set up for gravel and then a gravel processing plant, which turns turns stones into gravel, then I'm going to need a gravel quarry. And I believe that you need to build these on hilly terrain. Or here, potentially. Yeah, here we go. This terrain is not exactly flat, and that makes it perfect for a gravel quarry. I'm going to build that like so. So that's where I need to be, and that's where I need to get my resources to and from. Build another road. Grid snapping is something that either hasn't been discovered or that this game cares very little about. So it's going to be fairly haphazard. But then again, seeing the enormous amount of space that I have, I think that will not be a problem. Okay, this building. This is where the micromanagement starts. This building allows you to work without power. Or sorry, building does not have a power supply, so I still need to set up a power supply. But you can also get mechanisms. Mechanisms are vehicles, at least in this case, and I can decide which kind of an excavator I want on this particular building. I can have the T174, the 10011, or the E302. This thing has the highest speed per level, I think, of 33. So let's go with this one. And you can actually see that thing right over there. It is eager to get to work, but it has no workers and no power. So I need to set up a fair amount of infrastructure first. Now, once I have my gravel, I need that to get transported to a gravel processing plant. Or rather, that is going to turn the stuff into gravel. If I can spin that around, that'd be great. Because it has conveyor belt systems. And that might just allow me to immediately drop off what I need to where I need it. Infrastructure, conveyor belt, build a conveyor connection. No, my bad, you can't do that. Not from the quarry itself. You need a truck to go over here and pick it up and deliver it to the quarry. So in that case, I think it might be easier if I build it on the other side, because then I can build my industry towards that direction. Construction. That's the construction office. I'll get into that later. So this thing is going to get set up like this. Right, this is going to make me gravel, which you can either export if you don't want it, or you can use it in the next tier. And the next tier is this one, concrete plant. It's going to require gravel. It's going to require gravel, and it takes concrete. It's also going to require cement. I don't exactly know where I'm going to get cement from, because that does not get produced over here. So maybe I just have to import that. Okay, the next phase is going to be the concrete plant. And I gotta make sure that I can get... Yep, see, there it is. That's a conveyor belt that you can really see being pre-built over there. I need that to be set up here. And go back into infrastructure, conveyors. I need a conveyor transfer system. Let's see, zoom in a bit more. Conveyor. One here. And one here. Hopefully this is going to work. This needs to go like this. And then I need to build a conveyor. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, crap. In that case, change plans. As you can tell, I'm still learning the game and still making mistakes, and that will probably happen quite a lot because the tutorial was really not that good. Ferries industry. No, not ferries industry. Construction industry. Concrete plant. We'll just set one up there and then connect it to the road. There. Okay, that's phase 1. Now I can at least start getting something to export. But it's going to require a lot more than that. I'm going to need workers, I'm going to need energy, and I'm going to need a place for these workers, or a way for these workers to get here. So, energy. Energy related. I can get power directly from my neighbors if I have a connection. Which it turns out I do have. I have this substation over here and I can use that to import energy. And similarly you can export energy. If I want to import energy, that might be an easy way for me to get energy now, but I'm not sure if it's sustainable. I can also get a coal power plant and then you'll import coal. You can get a single reactor, a twin reactor, and all the industry that's required to make those reactors run. I'm going to go with a coal power plant, and that coal power plant will sit over here. It will start providing power once it's built, but you also have to make sure it actually has its own supply of coal. Now, if I pause for a second, you can see resources needed to finish the current phase, work days, concrete, gravel, and asphalt. That's resources needed to finish the current phase, the groundworks. And then resources needed to finish the entire construction, almost 8,000 work days, asphalt, concrete, steel, gravel, mechanical components, and electronical components. So you need a lot, and this game does allow you, at least from what I figured, to get all of that stuff built yourself. So production chaining. Now, that thing's coming up. I now need to get residential buildings, because I need my people to actually be able to live somewhere. Quality of flats, fairly good. These require just a bunch of rubbles, and they fit 179 workers each. Now, I must warn you, these flats are not for aesthetic purposes at all. They are just there to fit workers into spaces. Period. If you think that we're going for aesthetics, you have come to the wrong republic. Because this is the Soviet Republic and we only care about where we can just stash our workers. Not so much the quality of their life, or at least not yet. Now these guys will also need a way to get to work. To that end, I'll set up a bus stop. And the bus stop is going to sit over here. That bus stop will also need a bit of infrastructure in the sense of footpaths. And a footpath is going to allow these guys to get a bit closer to... Oh, actually they're already crowding into the bus stop. Never mind. I don't need a footpath. Infrastructure. There. Okay, so now they can get to the place, provided I actually set up a bus stop here too. Construction. Residential. Bus stop. I'm going to put that over here. Now, if you thought that was everything, no, you have come to the wrong place. Because you still need to set up a bunch more infrastructure. Let's see, where was it? Infrastructure. Roads. I need a road vehicles depot, which I will set up over here. The road vehicles depot is where you actually buy the bus. Believe it or not, you need to buy a bus to make sure that you can get your workers to and from the location. So I'm going to buy a new vehicle. I'm going to buy a bus. This one can house 76 passengers. I think one is just not going to be enough. It's going to be a bus. 76, 95? Okay. And then, no, we're not quite done yet. I need to set up the route for this particular bus. So I need to add a stop. And the first stop is going to be over here. Jeez, the game got really dark. Alright, now I have one bus stop over here. And the second bus stop over there. Load and unload on everything. And you may now commence your run. First stop is unreachable from the current vehicle position. That is a great place to start. How is that unreachable though? Because the road is connected. Although maybe the road isn't entirely done yet. Is there any way that I can turn on the day-night cycle? No. Turns out there is not. So yeah, it's it's just fairly dark. It is a dark night. This thing is still coming up. It is not a cheap plant to build, but at some point it will probably start working and start providing power to everything. Speaking of power, I now have power being produced over here, but that's about all I have done. Let's set up a high voltage wire. From here to here, and from here to here. I still need a substation. All things energy related. Electric substation. There we go. This thing does need to be connected to a road, so let's do that. And then I need to tie that in to the electrical grid. Hold on, that doesn't work. Jeez, it's really hard to see. I need to figure out if I can turn that off. Maybe I need to set up a power transformer. Yeah, that accepts the big power, and then I need to transform it into something smaller. Let's see, those were the high voltage wires, I think. I believe this is the one that I used. Yep, it's connected. And then we're going to go for medium voltage wires. From here to here. Alright, the power plant is done. However, it has a big exclamation warning next to it. It does not have anything. It cannot get any production going because it doesn't have any coal. So I'm going to purchase resources using rubbles. I'm going to set up auto purchase. And I'm going to tell it to just make sure that it has about 20 tons. And this way it's going to keep purchasing the resources and making sure that it can actually be operational. Now I also need to figure out why my bus has a problem. I do have these bus stops. The first stop is unreachable. This stop is unreachable. Really? No, the other stop is unreachable. How is this unreachable for you? Does it need to have something like that? Is that going to make you happier? Alright, road built. You, get underway. The first stop is not reachable from the current vehicle position? Hold on a minute. Oh. The whole thing's not connected. Yeah. I suppose you could consider that a problem. I thought this thing would auto-connect, but it didn't. So now I cannot actually use the building at all. Yes, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to demolish the building. And now I'm going to try that again. Construction, residential. No, not residential, was it? Let's try that again. Now it actually has a road connection. These things are also not producing anything because they don't have any workers. And that also goes for this one. It is a pretty hefty distance, I think, getting from here to there. Ow. It's really loud. Okay, workers. Distance that can be walked by foot, 158 meters. That's perfectly doable. That's about 2 minutes. Alright, try again and get a bus. All of a sudden I have a lot more options. Must have built a different road depot. 80 passengers. Microbus. This is just page 1. 82, 52, 40, 60... I like 83 passengers. Alright, you. Add. We're gonna pick up our workers. We're gonna drop off our workers. And now you're gonna just move. There we go. Bus is now getting underway. Of sorts. So now we're gonna slowly start getting our workforce over from here to there. The amount of population I have at the moment is 125 productive age workers here and another 125 there, which should allow me to actually fill the requirements for all of these buildings. We've got this thing, which requires 40 workers. 15. Jesus Christ, that's really loud. UI sound, it's not the 3D sound. I am sorry about the sounds. It is always a bit tricky to get those things set up properly. You need 5 workers. So now, if I'm not mistaken, this bus... Yep, it's already vacuuming up additional workers. And it should now start going towards the place where I need it, which is over there. It's not a long distance, but it is easier for the workers to do it like this. New vehicle type available. That's a harvester. That's something else that these people want and need. There are 51 citizens currently without power. They were unable to get food. They were unable to visit a pub or tavern. They were unable to get clothing, to get meat, to participate in sports. 12 workers can't work because there's no kindergarten. And the building is without power supply. Yes, that's because this thing is not operational. And without an operational coal power plant, you won't actually be able to get power. And as such, nobody has power. Which I suppose is the Soviet way. Nobody has power. Everybody's equal. So once this vehicle actually gets here, I wonder where they're all gonna go. Yep, and they're marching over towards the coal power plant. There we go, now we have power. And that should mean that these buildings have power. Yep, they have power. They're no longer complaining about power. But this is something that is not going to be tenable. At least not in the long term, because it's going to keep buying tons and tons and tons of coal. Which, for now, is alright. But I would love to also set up a coal power plant, or a coal mine. That's, however, not going to be the focus of this episode. I also want to try and set up a few more facilities where my people can get food. Infrastructure, no, resources. Let's see, residential buildings, that's the parking, that's the brick buildings, food and crop related, food factory, grocery store. There, now people can get their groceries, provided, of course, that I actually make sure that they have a place to get groceries, or for the groceries to get delivered to. They can get the groceries here. Again, I'm going to have to buy those. It will automatically keep itself stocked up with food and a bit of meat. So that should, again, take out another one of these requirements, or another one of these things. 125 citizens were unable to get food. That should go down, because the current number of shoppers is currently going up pretty quick. So the number of citizens unable to get food should be dropping. Now, how much workforce do I have? That's economy and trade. Population statistics. I have 63 unemployed workers. Can't have that. Everybody works. So let's set up a few food production factories. Fruit and crop related. I need an agro farm. And this is going to allow me to get some food built. Let's continue on with the road. Construction. Food and crops. Agro farm. It's going to sit over there. Keep the game running slowly. And then I'm going to have to need a couple of fields. A small field requires 75 workers. This one requires a maximum of 150. And this one no fewer than 250 workers. Big, big, big field. Now this thing can produce a maximum croppage of 0 tons. But it can export a total of 136 tons. So it's a sort of processing plant. I'm going to set up a medium field here. And then we're going to need a food factory. It's going to produce 20 tons of food, and it's going to require 42 tons of crops. If I'm not mistaken, then those are conveyor points. I'm not 100% on that. Or they work or... Hold on a minute. Rename, building transparent. Yeah. I made a mistake. This thing, from what I understand, has a conveyor system. Or at least it has a port for a conveyor system. No, they're paths. Never mind. It doesn't have any. Now you can set up mechanisms for this farm. So I can set up a harvester. I can set up a vehicle that's going to transport the crops. And I can set up a tractor for sowing. And of course, I'm going to need workforce. So I can use this bus stop and build another bus stop, making sure that my people can actually get here. Let's make it a small bus stop this time around. Seeing as the other one seemed fairly big. And once again, go into the vehicle depot, buy a new bus. 55 passengers. No, the farm is going to need quite a few passengers, I think. 82. You are going to start here, and you're going to end there. And you're going to go. Unemployed workers, 67. 66. Hold on, does this have power? No, it's without a power supply. Yeah, that's a mistake. Infrastructure. No, construction, energy related. It's going to require a substation. This will provide these buildings with energy. See, what I don't get is that you can have these energy substations, but then you have to go back into infrastructure to actually build your power lines. I don't find that very convenient, but here we are. the wrong type. Because the thing that I need already transforms here. So I think I need medium voltage wires. From here to here, and from here to here to here. Confirm you have power. Yes, it has power. Right. Here comes the bus. Currently 36 workers on it. So I am definitely going to need more population. Otherwise there will not be enough people over here to fulfill all of my requirements. Spin that around. God, these are hideous buildings. Now, we still have people unable to get meat, unable to get a church, unable to enjoy culture. All of these things are not really my priority. I just need to get my infrastructure operational. Right now you can already see the first tractor plowing through the field. You can actually schedule a start and stop apparently. Task at stop. Working for the farm, automatic mode. And it's currently sowing. So even all of this is outlined in the game. It is really, really in depth. I might need a second tractor there. Just to speed up things a bit. Let's get another tractor. What are all these people doing? Where are they all going? Oh, they're all going to work the field. Like, are you manually going to be sowing stuff? Is that it? Workers in this field, 56. How many people do I have? I have 67 unemployed workers still. So I built a few too many buildings potentially. Sowing in progress. So the next phase should be growing and then harvesting. Until that time, my food processing plant, which I have not built, is not going to be doing much. And this one is just working the field. Now, if you don't actually use the stuff that's coming off of the field, then I believe it's just going to go to waste. So I could export this stuff and make some money that way, but that's not really the plan. I want to set up a construction plant and actually get food built. So, the food factory. It's going to require a fair amount of workers, I imagine. 170. So that'll keep them busy. And to make it slightly more convenient for my people to get here, I can build a footpath from here to here. You can do the same thing to, well, wherever you like it. Except here it doesn't really matter. So once I have that factory, I'll be able to start producing my own food. And I'm going to need more workers for that. So let's set up another one of these beautiful, beautiful Soviet housing units. And make sure that we have enough workers. Now once you're building a housing unit, you can also set, I want to get citizens. If you tick this off, you can manually tick what sort of citizens you want to get. You can also say whether you wanted to auto-invite immigrants using rubles or auto-invite immigrants using dollars. Randomly move citizens from existing residential buildings to newly built flats. The game gives you a lot of options. We're still in the growing phase here. I guess that means that there's not too much to do at the moment, at least at the farm. So maybe I'll just need to set up another field so that there is more to do. Construction. Food. Give me another medium field. This means that there's probably going to be quite a bit of harvesting to be done eventually. But at least now all of these people should have something to do. No resources, missing, crops. For the moment I can buy some of those. So I can tell that this warehouse is going to get some crops, which it'll then turn into food. But we're going to run into a problem. Because yes, there will be food in here. but the food does not get delivered to the grocery. So once again, you have to set up your own vehicle supply line. That's going to be a covered hull. This thing can transport 2 tons of food. This thing can transport 4 tons of food. This thing can transport 6.5 tons of food. I think that's a bit much. Let's go with the JE300. Alright, buddy. You're going to have a new stop. You're going to start your business here. And you're going to drop off your foods here. Go. Now, I'm not exactly sure if I have this set up correctly. Yeah, I don't. Because, sure, there is... Oh, it's without a power supply. It's not actually getting anything done. I thought I needed to set up a truck, but I haven't even reached that stage yet. I still need to do something else. A substation. Turn. Now the substation is done. Now I'm going to need infrastructure. Power lines. I don't know if the power plant can immediately provide medium power here. Yeah, it can. No, it can't. Angle's too high? Yeah, that'll better. Okay. So now it should have power. And this thing should have power. No vehicle ready to load stone or no conveyor connection. Yes, I imagine that's a problem. If I want to go with conveyors, I don't have that here. I'm going to need a vehicle to load stone. But it cannot be an excavator. It has to be an actual vehicle from the road depot. Buy new vehicle. I think that's an open hull. No, not quite. This thing can transport steel, prefab stone. I need something that can actually transport the stuff that I need. Dumper trucks. There we go. Quarried stone. No particular reason, the W50. New stop. Here. Drop off. There. That's all that I need. We cannot store or export quarried stone. Well, we should be able to. And over here, it's probably also complaining that it doesn't have the required resources. It's missing quarried stone. There we go. It's dropping it off into the vehicle. And the vehicle moves off and starts to deliver it here. In the meanwhile, running over some very, very careless workers. It's never the problem with the truck, it's the problem with the workers. See, there we go. The stone is being fed into the factory. It then gets tossed out here and delivered to here, the concrete plant. Which it's now getting a bit of aggregate storage from the gravel, but it's not getting cement. So I will also purchase some cement. Granted. Once that's done, it's going to be able to export concrete. If I want it to. But I don't really want it to. I want to use that concrete for myself. So I'm going to set up a construction office. It already gets power. That's excellent. Now, once you have a construction office and the required resources, the construction office is capable of taking care of a lot of your requirements. I can say, okay, you're going to get your workers from here, I think. Gravel. How are you supposed to do that again? Specify a source. Yes, here. Specify a source for that. Here. I still need an asphalt plant. I still need concrete. Hold on, this is concrete, right? Yeah, that's the concrete plant. So I still need to get concrete from the concrete plant. And I still need to get steel, bricks, prefab panels, boards, mechanical components, and electrical components. So there is still a lot to be done. Once you have all of that set up at this construction office, you can then use buy new vehicle or mechanism, and you can get all the requirements of vehicles, and there's 9 pages of vehicles here. And with those you can transport the workers, the concrete, the gravel, everything you need in order to get the new particular thing that you want to build built. But that is going to be work for a different episode. For now, I have a bit of stuff set up. I am, however, losing some money, so I still need to attend to that. The farm is working, we are growing some crops. The food factory at the moment doesn't have that much to do, aside from just importing stuff. And it's still missing crops by the looks of it. If amount is less than specified, it should get bought. Oh, hold on, maybe that's the one that's dropping it off. No, that's the one that's picking it up. Here, go. And there we go. Now we're getting crops, and now we're getting food exported. So this truck is currently not producing or transporting any food, but it should be able to. Anyway, that's the first introduction into Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. Again, don't forget to show your support for the party. Type in the comment section, I serve the Soviet Union. Otherwise, I cannot be sure of your support, and I might need to have a bit of a chat with you, your family, or other loved ones. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, comrade, and I will see you next week for the new episode.